You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $10 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for M, who says, rant about friendships. What do you value in them? Do you like or perhaps hate certain traits? So, this is an interesting question because, like, the friendships I have now are mostly pretty distant. I'm not somebody who hangs out with my friends all the time. I used to be more so. Like, post high school, my friends were around a lot because they kind of hung out at my parents' house, where me and my brothers lived. It was a good hangout spot. And though I wasn't always like, you know, um, literally hanging out with them every time they hung out at my house, they usually hung out in Victor's room. I still saw my friends a lot. And, over time, I've come to. There's some of them I haven't spoken to in years. Some of them only once or twice. And my friends online, I don't talk to even as regularly as I used to. And the reason for all of that is quite simply that I I really look at my time like I just want to always be using my time the most effectively that I could. And sometimes that means having fun, hanging out, doing fun things. Sometimes it means work. Sometimes it means chilling out, being like by myself. And so, like, with the amount that I work, with the amount that I like to just hang out, with the amount of gratification I get out of just hanging out with May, and having a more intimate, more personal relationship where we're really caught up on everything one another are doing, where we're always there for each other, where you know, it's more intense than any individual friendship would be, right? So it's quite fulfilling on its own. So like where I would need friends is basically to fill in the gaps of that. And like that means I'm not spending a whole lot of time on friends. Like I'm so satisfied in my personal life with the way that I'm using my time that, you know, I kind of need an excuse to hang out with friends or even family. Like I'm not going to just sort of casually lapse into hanging around and not doing anything because that's what we used to do a lot of, when we all hung out together regularly. Maybe occasionally we might go out and do something interesting or fun or different, but usually those things were pre-planned anyways. They were things that had some kind of setup, and in the meanwhile there would be just an endless amount of sitting around playing fighting games and stuff like that. So like I really don't value the part of interaction with friends that is just like having something to do in your free time as opposed to being by yourself, because I'm not by myself. I'm always with May. I've always got somebody around. I've always got work to do. I've always got projects to work on. I've always got stuff to go out to do. I keep myself pretty busy. So if I'm going to hang out with my friends, it has to either be that, they're going to come over and we're going to talk all day about whatever's been going on, and like find things to do together. Or it's got to be that we're like working on something together. And like most of the friends that I really have close contact with at all are like the procrastinators, because they're people I work with. They're people who I want to drag into collaborative videos, or set up new shows with, or organize meetups where we're going to work on something. But like when we interact, it's mostly to work, even if we're using work as an excuse to just have a conversation and catch up, like in the case of the Procrastinators podcast, which pretty much exists just for that purpose. In any other context, we're mostly hanging out to do things together, to optimize our time because it's fun. We like working and we like working together, so it's a good excuse to hang out. And we could go, I don't know, we can have conversations off camera, we can go eat lunch together or whatever it is. We can hang out in the meantime, but like we're not going to hang out all the time. We're going to hang out when we have an idea for something to make together, when we have an idea for like what we're going to do together. And even if it's just as simple as like, I might have my friends or my family over for a holiday get together because that's just the way we're going to spend that day. Everybody's going to have a party, and that will be more of a hangout, but it has to be more of a special occasion, a thing you do because, you want to celebrate and you want to enjoy this with as many of your friends as possible. But for the most part, yeah, I would prefer to. I liked having friends who, are comfortable continuing to be friends with you, not because they are keeping up with your life all the time or because you are, always gonna want to fucking know what's going on with each other, but because you know that when you get together, it will be a good time. That when you do get together, you will have interesting conversations, you will create things that are interesting, or you will, just have fun, enjoy yourselves. You'll find things that all of you want to do, because you have similarities that would lead you to those conclusions, or you just have a good time conversing. Everybody in the PCP, the reason we like doing RadCon so much is that, like, it's just fun to hang out with each other because we all bounce off of each other creatively really well. We're constantly having fun conversations, interesting ideas, just, high energy, mimetic, kind of frantic, manic interactions, and it's a lot of fun on and off camera, but, like, it only is going to happen if we are all in the same place. You can't get that same level of interaction through, like, communicating on the internet. So it's like there needs to be a reason we can all group together to have these interactions. So I guess it's possible that if some of those guys lived around me, I would communicate with them more. I mean, certainly if Nate moves down here, we're going to do a show twice a week. So I'll see him twice a week. And that'll probably be the most of a friend I've seen since since 2016 or something like that. But, like, yeah, I think, what I look for in friends is people who, when they're around, not a second will be wasted. We will enjoy our time. We'll get something done or have an interesting conversation or just make sure that we're having fun. For however long we're around each other, and then we will not fucking try to just hang out all the time for the sake of it.